Saturday morning, we kick off the Experts program. That means our tech expert, Luis Alvarez, joining us here on this, third weekend, I guess, of October. Luis, how you doing?
I am doing great, my friend. How are you?
Very well, and it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and really, in a way, it's kind of my favorite topic to talk about. It's not necessarily not a favorite thing in a sense that, you don't want it to happen to you, but I always find it fascinating to discuss ways that we can protect ourselves from the onslaught of cyber terrorists that are out there. And ID theft is a huge, huge thing these days. And one of the things where people don't really think about ID theft, think about getting ripped off online, their ID stolen that way. But one of the ways that these cyber terrorists will steal your ID is just old-fashioned burglar in the neighborhood going through your recycling bin and your garbage and stealing mail, junk mail that you throw out with your name and address on it. That's really valuable. And
it's a big problem, and it really is something that most of us don't think about in today's world, because you're thinking of cyber threats or where they're going to get me. But if you have a mailbox that's easily accessible, like if you have one of those older homes that happens to have a mailbox on the street, as opposed to a newer community that has those locked mailboxes, don't be surprised that people drive up and down the street after the mail's been delivered and poke through your mailbox to steal stuff.
Exactly. So one of the things you have to do, and by the way, having worked for the Postal Service at one point, if you have a mailbox that's out on the sidewalk or it's on the curb, you can't move that inside the gate or up to your porch. The Postal Service will not service your mail if you do that. So what you have to do is replace the mailbox with a secure one with a key that only you can get in. And there's plenty of them out there. You can find them at hardware stores and so forth. But it has a slot for your mail to go through. And then the only way to get the mail out of that is you have to have a key to either open it up in the front or the back will open up. But that is really the only way that you can secure your mail if you have one of those mailboxes on a post out in front of your house. We're fortunate we have a wall slot, and so that helps us. But one thing people can do when you get that junk mail or anything you're going to throw away, don't throw away anything with your name and address on it. Get a paper shredder and just tear off the portion of the junk mail or the paper or the envelope that has your name and address and shred that. And
especially if it's one of those applications for credit cards that they send you where it's kind of pre-filled and all they want you to do is sign. They've already got all your information on there. You throw that away, somebody else can sign it on your behalf and send it to themselves.
Exactly. So go ahead and make sure that you shred that stuff. It's a low-tech way of protecting yourself, but it's a really effective one. And for the most part, you can buy a decent shredder for $50. All right, let's move on to our main topic for the day here as we are discussing cybersecurity. That is with Google rolling out an alternative to the password. What's Google got going on?
Yeah, so Google is one of the first companies. Apple is another one, and Microsoft is soon to join them, that's trying to ditch the human-generated passwords. That is, passwords that you and I think up, because quite frankly, you and I aren't that imaginative. And a lot of times the passwords that we come up with are very easily hacked into unless you make a concerted effort to come up with something that's complicated. So what they want to do is convert people from using passwords to something called passkeys. And what passkeys are is it's a computer-generated password. It's usually very long and virtually impossible to hack, but you don't have to remember it because it links that passkey with your biometrics. So your fingerprint, your facial recognition, or some other biometric way of getting into your device so that you don't have to remember a password. All you have to do is look at your phone or use your fingerprint to log in. And so for mobile devices, it really is a much more secure way of protecting your information. Still not necessarily available on PCs yet, but it's coming. Apple has already been beta testing facial recognition system for their iOS desktops, their Macs. And Microsoft has had Microsoft Hello for a while, and they're perfecting that with the aim of completely eliminating your need to create passwords. And instead, they generate complicated passkeys attached to your face or your finger and make it much more secure to get into your information.
It's the way things are going. You just have to do it because the algorithms that the hackers are using are getting more sophisticated. And if you make it really easy to get into your stuff, they will.
Absolutely.
And they'll have access. And I'm reading all the time about people who are getting ripped off because, they use the same password for everything, or they didn't have a sophisticated password. How did they hack my phone? How did they get into my accounts? Well, if you were using the word password 1234, pretty easy to figure that out. or if you're using the same password for everything, well, once one account gets compromised, they just start going through everything else that you have, and you get compromised as well.
Absolutely. It just happened to 23andMe, and they sent out a notification to those of us that have been using that service and said, hey, we got hacked, somebody credentials got compromised, and now some of your data may be out there. We'll let you know. So imagine if your DNA information's out there. That's scary.
Boy. And one of the other things you have to watch out, if you're surfing online on social media, and this is showing up on Facebook all the time, it's weird. It comes and it goes. But one of them is someone died in an accident, and it comes up on a friend. So like, for example, a Facebook friend of yours, all of a sudden your news feed, you see something from Joe Smith, and it's someone died, and it has like a video of like an accident scene, and there's a play button in the middle of it that they want you to click on. Now, it's either going to take you to, if it's relatively harmless, it'll take you to a porno site that wants you to sign up. But if it's not harmless, you press that and it could launch malware or a Trojan into your mobile device or your computer to steal your information. Just do not click on those. As much as you may be curious, you think, oh gosh, there was an accident in my town, I need to see where this was. No. Don't do it. And don't look at it like, oh, it's from my friend Joe, so it must be okay, because chances are Joe's been hacked. So either call Joe or send him a message and say, hey, did you post such and such about an accident?
Yeah.
And what? I didn't know about that. And I remember seeing this from one of my Facebook friends. This particular came up 5 times on the feed through different friends. The exact same one. Well, they all got hacked with the same one. You got to look at this stuff and go, you always have to keep in the back of your mind that there are people out there that want to steal your personal information, and they will go to any and all means to get it.
Absolutely. Be suspicious. Be on alert anytime you're online doing anything. And when you see something that doesn't look right, double check it before you click on anything or do it. Especially nowadays when you have all of those GoFundMes that are out there trying to raise money for what seemingly are good causes. Be judicious in which ones you decide to contribute, and make sure you know the people involved.
Now, one other thing, last thing I want to mention here, Lewis, is, and this is in the form of security, cybersecurity, and so forth, but there's a woman in Monterey who wrote on the Neighborhood app today. She says, someone switched a package left next to my front door by Amazon to a package that wasn't from Amazon. Amazon photos show that they left my order and not the switched package. The switched package was in the same size box and not what I had ordered. So this is a new thing that porch pirates are doing. Maybe it's a way of them trying to cover their tracks or something, but they're coming up to people's porches. They leave a package full of junk and take the good package. So you need to watch out for that. And it's another reason why you would want to have something like a Ring or, Nest camera out there to watch what's going on. And of course, now when you get things delivered by most of the major delivery services, they take a picture of, hey, we just left the package on your porch, proof of delivery, and then it gets emailed or texted to you so you can see. And if it's a different package, well, basically what they're trying to do is the shippers are trying to relieve themselves of any liability they might have, because they can show you proof. Hey, we delivered the package. There's your package. Yeah. Somebody took your package. It wasn't us.
Exactly. It's a good idea to get a Ring or a Nest Cam and just make sure that when things like that happen, you have it on video.
All right. Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, has been our guest today. He'll be back with us on Monday. We're going to talk about phishing scams where the hackers are using the identity of the United States Postal Service to try and rip you off. More about that on Monday's program beginning at 8:30. Online, you'll find them at alvareztg.com, and of course their Twitter or their X handle, I guess we have to say X now, is AlvarezTG on X. Why did they change that to, what does that mean?
You have to understand Elon Musk, he's always wanted to have an X super site, so he finally decided to change. Since he couldn't build it, he took Twitter and converted it.
There's some there are a lot of things that man does that I like, and there are some things that leave me scratching my head, and this is one of them.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Lewis, thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. We'll chat again next week.
Absolutely. Take care.